I'm Jen Lopez of the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau, and we invite you to come and enjoy and play in the snow in Tuolumne County this winter. Whether you're headed up Highway 108 to ski or snowboard at Dodge Ridge Ski Resort, or go tubing at Leland High Sierra Snow Play, or you're going to head to Yosemite on Highway 120, there are some things you should know about winter driving in the Sierra Nevada. For some tips, here's Bob Turney of Yosemite Adventure Supply in Groveland.
Thanks, Jen. And yes, I'm Bob Turney. We're sitting here in front of my store, Yosemite Adventure Supplies in Groveland, California, which is the north gateway to Yosemite. I'm going to teach you how to install cables onto your vehicle today. One of the reasons that I'm also here is to tell you about when you'll need your cables. One of the things that's different about Caltrans requiring chains all over the state, they have their own requirements. But Yosemite, they can call what's an R rating, R1, R2, or R3. The way you find out what that R rating is by dialing 209-372-0200, pressing 1 and 1 and listening to your road conditions. Anytime Yosemite calls an R1, R2, or R3, they mean that you have to carry chains. It doesn't matter whether you have four-wheel drive and snow tires or not. You have to carry chains just to get into the park. And a lot of the times they're going to make you show them to them just to get in. Reason being that that's so important is because if you don't have the cables when you go into the park and the snow pops up, which can happen instantaneously practically around here, and they call an R2, which means you have to put your chains on, there could be up to a $5,000 fine. Not to mention they can charge you whatever they feel is reasonable to put cables on your car to get you out of the park. That's very important. Next thing you need to do is you need to figure out what your tire size is. Best way to do that is go to the side of the tire. It's going to be like a P231, R14, something of that nature. Take a picture of the side of the tire and then take it into your auto dealership or whoever's helping you with your chains and make sure that you put those on, you get the right size. I'm also going to recommend that you try and put them on at home or wherever you can before you hit the snow, because it's going to be miserable, and if you have the wrong size at that time, you're not going to be happy. Next thing you need to do is you got to figure out whether or not you have front wheel or rear wheel drive. It's very important that you put them on the powertrain of the vehicle. Front wheel drive, it goes on the front tires. Four wheel drive, that goes on the front tires. Check your manufacturer's books. I'm generally going to recommend that you put on a four wheel drive or an all wheel drive, you put the cables on the front of the vehicle, because not only do you have control with power, you have control with the steering. So let me show you how to put those, how to figure out whether or not you have a front wheel or rear wheel drive now. Typical for most cars, all right, if you've got a rear wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle, your engine is going to be sitting in this direction, all right? So the wheel's spinning like this, it's going on the shaft all the way to the back and spinning your rear wheels. Same thing with an all-wheel drive. With an all-wheel drive, check your manufacturer's manual and find out whether or not they want them on the front or back. For the most part, on an all or four-wheel drive, I'm going to ask that you put your chains or cables on the front tire. Not only are you going to get power, you're also going to get more control out of it. So the objective is to put your cables on the power line of the wheels, which is their front wheel drive. Front wheel drive is like this. The engine is sitting this direction, because now it's going to spin out drive shafts going that way and spin the front wheel tires this way. On a front wheel drive, you're always going to put your cables on the front of the car. Next, I'm going to show you how to put the cables on. First thing you want to do with your cables, you want to lay them out in front of your tires. Now, one of the things that this is a rear wheel vehicle, but I'm going ahead and showing you how to put them on the front wheels for two reasons. One, it's easier to see how it's completed. The other thing, it's going to be a lot easier to click onto the back when you've got a front wheel drive. All right. The thing is, now you got to make sure that your L clip, which is this right here, is on the outside of the tire. Best way to do that is just have the L clip facing down when you drive up over them. Reason being is because if this is facing the tire, you can imagine it's going to tear that tire up pretty good. So you want to make sure that it's on the outside of the tire. Lay them out in front of your vehicle. Now, if there's somebody helping you do this, if somebody's driving the vehicle for you, make sure, keep safety in mind at all times. Make sure that when they are using it, they put on the emergency brake and the engine is off. But it's because at some point you're going to have to get in front of the car when they may be bringing it up onto the cables. So you lay them out in front of your car like this, and then we're going to just drive it up on it a little bit, okay? That's perfect right there. Perfect. All right, now it's real easy at this particular point. I'm going to have her turn off the engine, put it in park. Always do that first. Then I'm just going to slip them up over the tire. One of the other things I'm going to mention to you too is as well, We had a beautiful sunny day and it hadn't snowed here yet, so we got a nice dry surface. A lot of the times you're going to be doing this in wet weather. It's going to be cold, it's going to be miserable. Have some gloves. And the other thing is, I always have a little plastic bag I can sit there and throw it out of the ground, kneel down on it, and keep my knees a little bit dry. Now I've got the cable brought up like this. There's one just like this on the inside. If you see, you got these little notches right here. I'm going to slip it on the inside as far as I can go on the inside first. Sometimes you're going to have to feel it. You might not always be able to see inside here. So you get it up there and get it on as far as you can up on the last one that you can. Now you come on out and do the outside one. Pull it in up as far as you can, and you count these. Get it on there as hard as you can. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I want to do my best to have the same amount on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now on the inside too, I have one of these. These are really helpful. You put this on like that, and then you'll snug it down. The next thing I'm going to need is my tensioners. So hang on 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and grab them real quick. These are tensioners. They don't always require that you have to have them on the tires, but they're going to be a lot nicer in keeping that cable in there really, really secure. And it doesn't have to be perfect on any particular one, but I also tend to, as an insurance policy, one of the notches, I hold down the other part of the cable, because if this thing pops loose, it's going to come around and start smacking the side of your vehicle. It's going to be a problem. So it's just an additional insurance policy. There you go. We're set. Now the one thing that I'm going to recommend after you do at this point, drive the vehicle for about a half a mile up the road, get out and check and make sure everything's secure. Redo these. You might be able to get another notch on this. Whatever you can do to make sure that it's insured on there safe. One more point, don't drive over 30 miles an hour. If it's at all possible, try and do it before the snow actually hits, but you don't want to drive far on these things without any kind of snow for it to grab onto, because on regular hard asphalt, it actually has the opposite effect. It'll actually slip. And again, folks, a lot of the times when Yosemite requires an R rating to get your chains, that may be a beautiful sunny day like this, but they're going to require you carry chains to get inside the park. You might not use them. Talk to me about refundable tire chains and I can help you out. Thanks again, folks, and good luck out there and be safe on the roads.